Oh, somebody shot us $9 too on the joint.
Oh, okay.
Some dude named Jay.
Oh, bet.
$9.99. I had to read it. It wasn't the note letter, but it said something like it had his Cash App name, and then it was like for it was something on something I can't remember.
Bet. Well, we live. Peace to the world. Welcome back to another episode of the Think Muzic Podcast. This is episode number 21.
21.
And this is the Gnosis.
Dap Dunlap live out in the field. You know what I mean? Doing the podcast while working, you heard? So, you know, like we said before, we real people. Guys out here sweating. And I got another building to do after this. Y'all gonna ride with me on that too, you heard? I'm gonna turn this camera off, G.
All right, G. Yeah, so we're back. And you know, it's been an interesting week. Every week is interesting in 2021.
Yes. True indeed.
So we decided to settle on the title of Vibe with Your Tribe. And you know, just based on how things are going right now and where we at in the world, and just things are topsy-turvy. And not to forget that we are ushering in the Aquarian age, which is the age of, in one way we could express it, it's the age of the community. It's the age of knowledge set free. It's the age of, as the show is titled tonight, Vibe with Your Tribe. Where are the members of my tribe? What people comprise my tribe? Who functions on the same or similar wavelength as mine? And we feel that the times we're in, that's a very pressing question, because we're seeing lines being drawn in the sand where even people we love, care about, maybe close to, they're choosing, I'm going on this side of the line or this side of the fence. And you're like, wow, dang, I thought I knew you, you know? And some people are obvious where they stand. They always been. Peace, MJ. You the person that inspired this title. I think you posted this in the live one night. You said vibe with your tribe. Yes. All is well, good sister. All is well. We hope, trust all is well with you and yours. Peace, MJ. Yeah, we're glad we could make it back this evening. But Dap, did you have anything you wanted to kick off with along those lines?
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching the news this week, and there's some people protesting outside the governor's mansion, and they're healthcare workers, and they pleading with him not to, mandate what they're pushing. And this lady, she was being interviewed, and she was like, we just want more time. We just want to see like what's gonna happen. Like, I want to, I feel like I don't have a choice. And and people are being they're being browbeated to think that if you don't do something, you're hurting the majority. And it's like I told you offline, and in my 45 years, I've never seen anything being pushed in this way. Like, you get your, random things that happen. Now we know they've been pushing gun laws for a minute, ever since Columbine. At least on a strong note. But this thing right here is being pushed from the top and relentlessly. So
and
globally. So from the things I've listened to, research done, you start asking yourself, okay, it seems like plans are starting to come into fruition. And now we're at choice point. We're at, what am I going to do to survive in this climate? And the choice is yours. We got to make a choice now. And, for the people that's being forced or having to make this decision and can't really say, okay, I don't want to do it. Now you're risking your livelihood. And what does that look like for a person that doesn't want to, go forward with what they're pushing? And, so I how it works in the movies, you're going to have, we've seen all the dystopian movies, Demolition Man, Running Man, Total Recall, Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner. We know how it go. It's going to be the ones that go in and enjoy the Eon Flux. It's going to be the ones that they're going to go in and eat the fruit, and then you're going to have the others left to just make it how you make it. You know what I'm saying? With no resources or what have you. And, then I know it's a dim view, but it's an honest view, and it's a predictive view that they've been showing us for 30 years, 40 years, from the 80s movies all the way to now. And if you pay attention to the movies, you'll see that there's always an influx of movies that hit at the same time. Like you had the total, not Total Recall, but you had the Deep Impact. Then you had Armageddon. Then you had When the World Stands Still. Then you had what's the joint when everything froze over? I forget the name.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, The Day After Tomorrow. You had the influx of all of these movies. The core. They talking about the core. The Earth was gonna do. So now, how is it? We say it's the money game. Oh well, they seen one movie take off, and then whatever they had in the can in that vein, they greenlit to get money off of disaster movies. But no, I think it's the other way around. I think when you pay attention to the dialogue in the movies, it just gives you more uh, insight on what could possibly go on, and we have to look at, because me and you always talk about this. Who's these screenwriters and who's these writers that come with these scripts and all of that? And we always hear, this person been trying to get this movie made for 10 years, and it's like, that's a backstory. But how did the guy come get this one movie off? It's a 200 million seller, 300 million. Then you never hear from this guy again. You know what I'm saying? In some cases. But so, it's getting to choice point. And a lot of people I think you said it offline, you're going to have to be careful of cults. And then you're also going to have, I think, an influx of communes. And that's where your tribe is going to sit. It's like I told you before. I feel like you have to move back to being analog, because we're going digital, and we're going to have to learn how to live in an analog way. We're going to have to go back and dig with shovels. It's time to get in your garden now and dig up dirt. You know what I'm saying? And I watched my wife do it last summer. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's where it's going. You know what I mean? That's what it's getting to. So, that's what I see at this point. The beginning of what could possibly be a dystopian way of life if we're not careful.
Yeah. I also think, I was telling my wife that one thing we're seeing is that everything's been coordinated. And that even the way the educational system has been running, it has been set up to not teach. When you think about why they would seem like they have a concerted effort to shut down creativity,
Right.
To shut down the ability to think critically, unless you happen to be one of the lucky people who make it to the arts school, high school, or you make it into the tech school. But then again, they're already trying to get you on a road where those special ones, they're already going to have you fast tracked to where there's a place for you to fit, to where your talents can be used in a controlled manner to support the machine.
MIT, Boston Dynamics.
Yep. All of the above. And so we are seeing the culmination of a lot of things right now when you basically dumb down a society by design, so that we're at a point now, we're at a crossroad. So it was like, if a person has not had a thought outside of just surviving, or outside of whatever they're involved in, never thinking, well, what else can I do? What are my true passions? What's the skill or skills I can develop? What's up, C Truth? If you have a society that is indoctrinated to not think in that manner, then even if they have enough sense to know that they don't want to participate in what is being pushed, they may not have ever considered what other routes they can take. Or is there another way of living? Or what am I willing to give up? And so here we are. But I also feel that as much as that has been instituted and implemented, that there are also still a vast number of people, although percentage wise is likely very small of the population. There's a good bit of people whose minds are vibrating at such a high level, spiritually, mentally, and trickling down to physically, that it is still causing the equivalent of seismic activity. And we think about some of our great teachers, you know, you think about Delbert Blair, for example, who used to always talk about there will be a quickening, and the earth is going to go from third to fourth to fifth dimension, and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it sounds like, oh, you know, okay, all right, brother Dale, you know, maybe to somebody else they may be hearing that and think that. But sometimes people are talking and they are so far ahead of the actual calendar date that after a while, after 10 years of hearing, it's like, oh, okay, here we go. All right, all right. And but lo and behold, everything's coming to pass now. Everything's coming to pass. And so the concept of vibe with your tribe is that it's a very Aquarian statement. It means the time is up for us participating and running Ponzi schemes on each other. For one, it's over for that. It's over. Because if you're not sincere, this is expose time. You know, things are coming up from the underworld. And we're not going to be able, for the past, I say, decade or 15 years, you know, a lot of people have come up by just, you know, getting over on people, you know. But this energy is one where it's requiring all of us to ask, and this might not, this might not go over well with a lot of folk, you know, but how can I be of service? How can I be of service? And you know, it's to many that sounds lame, you know, oh, that's lame and blah, 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 blah. You know, and I don't know if it was last week I said something about a doula. I don't know if that was last week, or I might have told somebody that in a reading. Okay, so on the tree of life, in Kabbalah, you have Mars on the fifth sphere is Gavora. Okay, and you have Jupiter right here with the fourth sphere, Hesed, but Hesed is also called Gedula. So Givora is the same of give birth, because Mars here is with severity, and the root of the word severity is sever, which is to cut. So the birthing process is the child being cut away from the mother. But there is something called a doula. And the doula is there to help the mother give birth. That's why Hesed associated with Jupiter is also referred to as Gedula. Now, the word in Gedula, we find doula, and doula means servant. Servant. So we're at a point, if we really believe in the metaphysics that we claim to believe in, and we have incarnated at this time in such a dynamic period, then I fashion that those of us who are on a certain frequency are here for a reason. And so that then when we talk about being a servant, it's not from a mundane perspective. It is saying, I am a servant as in a doula. I am assisting in an energy being birthed on the planet. What's up, Leonard?
Peace, Leonard.
Yo, okay. See, Truth, you hitting on it. The middle path of Doth, knowledge, is intriguing, and I relate it to the narrow path leading to heaven, the same path where Kundalini rises through Sushumna, Aida, and Pingala. That's right, the twin serpents. Yes. The most difficult path, the middle path. And the middle path also on the tree is where this is the Yod He Vah He. And this is 26. Yod He Vah He. And so yeah, that's the balancing component. And so it is very hard to be balanced. I feel that's one of the challenges of those who are more awakened right now. Because here's the thing, and my bad, Dad, I'm just kind of just letting stuff run off my head. I'm
sweeping this kitchen, bro. You good?
Okay. There's something that's been on my mind that, how can I say this? I think I've said this before, that every
my bad.
And not to keep harping on astrology, I just want to say this and I'm gonna get off of it. I've said it before, I gotta say it again. Every house is a form of intelligence. Okay. And so if the last house is the assimilation of all of those before it, and that house is referred to as consciousness, then every house has significance. Now, the title of our show tonight is Vibe with Your Tribe. That's an Aquarian expression. And Aquarius is naturally the 11th house, which is before the 12th house of higher consciousness. So the last house, though, of the personal expression is the 6th house, Virgo's house. And Virgo, one of Virgo's words is service. on an individual level, what I'm getting at is that when we take on the moniker of how can I be of service, we are and on an individual basis, then we naturally propel the collective or our tribe in the 11th house, because the tribe is supposed to be comprised of individuals who are doing the work. Do that make sense? By the time you get to the latter houses of the wheel, you are reaping and reflecting what has been done in the personal half of the wheel. So it's very funny how the most, I think C Truth said something about lame to profane. You know, it's like the most magnificent of the expressions is a reflection of what may be the most mundane. So the 12th house is higher consciousness. The 6th house is the chopping wood, carrying water. What's up, Void? Chopping wood, carrying water. Mundane activities, service, humility, you know, areas where I gotta make a sacrifice. And I must say this because the version that many of us have idea of spirituality is that I don't have to submit to none of that type of stuff. I rise above all that. And what it does is it separates the chart. The whole chart is about assimilation. You can't assimilate by saying I don't have to deal with a certain area. And that's what can be referred to as spiritual bypass. Well, what we are in right now is reminding us you can't bypass nothing, because the mundane world is coming to your front doorstep, to our front doorstep, and forcing us to look at all areas of our existence. I don't know. Am I making sense?
Yeah, because what I think also, what you're explaining is what people are going to have to do in a dystopian society. You're going to have to go back to the old days and the old ways of living. And what's going to happen is this is where the divide's going to come. You're going to have people that will say, I'd rather go into the old way of living and be organic, or give me a smart city with the smartphone and I'm tracked everywhere. And, and I might have something inserted in me, but at least I'm not out shoveling dirt, making a garden. So you're going to have people that's not going to want to do the work. And, in China, they already got a whole city built that's empty. Skyscrapers, a whole city with nothing in it, nobody there. And some people are saying that that's going to be for the future, when they implement the smart cities. on the deep, on a heavier level, because China's already in the deep. You know, they already got the cameras and all of that stuff going around, and I think they
Right.
already got this, and I think they already have the social equity going too. But I'm not 100% sure on that. So, so what I think is the work you're explaining that people are going to have to do is what is going to look like if you choose to become organic.
Hmm.
Yep.
And instead of trying to figure out how to beat each other, all this stuff that that people talking about coming together, and they really don't mean it. You know what I'm saying? It's come together and and buy my whatever versus actually, well, the whole thing of your tribe is like we're actually gonna have to figure out how to, even if it ain't nothing but two people, as in at the most basic level, a couple in a relationship. If you just think about everything, like driving down the highway, there's this woman, there's this lawyer here in the Dallas area named something Pinkerton. And she's got this billboard up. She's got um her shirt, her blouse buttoned just enough to show just a hint of cleavage. Okay. And then she says up there, was 2020 better than your marriage? Contact me, divorce attorney. I mean, she's got billboards everywhere. And so, what does that have to do with our conversation? That is an attack on consciousness right there. Because you don't see no billboards about want to make your relationship work? Call me. you know, not saying that those people don't exist, but obviously it's more money in your relationship not working than it is in trying to help it work. Everything around us is set up to move us into this new era less prepared. Because even if your tribe is just two people, it is very powerful, because even the whole thing of the zodiac, just take that. When you take there's 12 signs. The word 12 means twin. So what the whole thing is set up about twins, okay? And twin breaks down to two L's. Two L's. Two L's is two alephs. Two alephs is two lights. So if you can, and that's why we have two lights in the heavens. We have the luminary light and we have the solar light. We got the moon and the sun. Two lights. And if you can have two lights that can communicate with each other, it's a very powerful thing. Just look around us. Everything is being set up, even on the most simplistic level, to try to thwart the idea of those two lights, one expressing as the moon, other expressing as the sun. Young E, what's up, good brother? So,
and it feel like people trying to get this last stab at money. Like I got this feeling, and I've had it for a couple years, that you're being sold things, um, and the people, like how you were saying earlier about people um selling things that have no benefit or whatever, things of that nature. And it's like it seems like there's a last ditch effort to get as much money as you can to try to prepare for what you see outside, and you don't care who you're harming and making sure you're fine. You don't care uh who you're jipping or who fleecing to better your situation. You know what I'm saying? And it's just and
You still there? Okay, he might be in a bad area. I have to have him go back. What's up, Flex? You're right, boy. Androgynous at the end of the day. That's right. I'm sure Dap will come back. I don't know if he lost his signal. I want to see where I want him to finish where he building. But it's true. It's we talk about this on the phone. Is that a lot of people have a lot more awareness than they let on to. As far as like people are seeing the trends as to where things are going, and they're like Dad was saying, I got to do whatever I got to do to make sure that me and mine gonna be able to eat. And so if you use a word like faith, you have to pay attention to certain words you can't use. You back there?
yeah. I think my
Okay.
phone went to sleep. I don't think StreamYard works as good when if you put your phone to sleep. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I like where you was going because I was thinking the same thing. But with that lady with the divorce ad, you know, since since this thing jumped off, there's been articles about relationships being in turmoil,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, you know, uh, uh, domestic abuse going on in these relationships because the abuser is home more now, and so that ad made me think of articles I was reading about domestic violence and things like that in the society. um and it looked like that's a money grab because like who's really on some I'm not saying no one's thinking about getting a divorce, but like with all of this going on, who mind who like is that really on the forefront of your mind? You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
in her eye, it's a she knows she gets a bag from it. And like you said, like where you was going, um uh people know what's going on more than they let on that they know what's going on. So they're quietly, you know, filling up the coffers, filling up the storehouse to be ready for whatever comes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You still there?
Yeah, I had to mute and talk to my young boy real quick. But yeah, he said hello.
Young Nias.
So yeah, man. So that's what I had, bro. It's like, you know, people storing the coffers in the storehouse. And because we live in capitalism, the only way to really do that is off of someone else. you know. So, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to harm somebody else, and not physically or whatever, but you cats is in a fleece bag,
Right. And
and it's unfortunate.
somebody mentioned earlier something about fear. It might have been C Truth. And I think that is I think it is very prominent. I was trying to connect my Bluetooth, so but either way, it's fear is a very prominent emotion and energy right now. And it's not just amongst the so-called dead people, you know, people who are supposed to be in awakened and enlightened and all that. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of fear, you know. Um, um, Basic fear of not surviving, you know. And so um, whenever you can create a situation where survival is threatened, security is threatened, you're going to see the true nature come out. Um, um, you also, I lost my train of thought. I was about to go somewhere else with that. Where was I going with that? Fear. I was talking about fear. Um, It'll come back to me. But at the, I'm trying to remember where I was going with that. Something I was going to say. Damn, the app just dropped off. Hold on. You there?
Yeah. You huh? Okay.
These because they don't make as much mess as the powder as the Dorito.
Okay. I'm in this store real quick, my G.
Okay.
Real life stuff going on. Hold on once.
Right. So see Truth saying, damn, I'm trying to remember where was I about to go? So see Truth says people have been conditioned to value safety and security over ethics and freedom. The implications of that are huge. Fear is the number one. This is Flex. Tool these people running the globe use. Fear is a shadow aspect of Capricorn and this capitalistic society. That's true. I want to come back to this. This is people have been conditioned to value safety and security over ethics and freedom. The implications of that are huge. I want to expound on that, see Truth, because that is the theme, the overarching astrological theme of this year. Because conditioned to value safety and security, that's Saturn, because Saturn sets limits, and limits can provide a feeling of safety and security, even if it's actually entrapment. So ethics and freedom would be a more Uranian, Promethean expression. So throughout this year, there's been an ongoing square between Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. And so Taurus is about safety and security, because Taurus is the natural ruler or sign of the second house, security. So you have the planet of freedom in the sign of security and safety, Taurus. But then you have the planet that enforces the rules that quote unquote maintain safety and security, Saturn, is inside of the sign Aquarius that is about freedom. So we got this paradox. We got Uranus that wants to break free inside of a fixed energy, Taurus, that wants to sit still and just maintain things as they are. Then you have Saturn, which is the constraint of time and limitation inside of the fixed sign of mental acuity and fixed air. And you got this clashing all year. So I really think when you said that people have been conditioned to value safety and security over ethics and freedom, that's the dilemma, one of the big dilemmas of this year. Because, I mean, it's only human to think, man, I just want things to get back to normal. But we all know that the normal that we had wasn't right. It was not right. We were not satisfied. We saw the rich get richer, the fat get fatter.
Right.
We saw the poor get poorer, the downtrodden get trodden down more, you know. But the difference is that here's what we got to remember in all of this is that before this, you had people who really felt like their position on the pyramid was secure. And they felt like they saw the people beneath them on the pyramid structure, and they always knew they could step on them. And they knew as long as I can step on them, I'm above something. And therefore, I believe in the pyramid. I believe in my country. I believe in my constitution. But guess what? Guess what? Now those people don't feel the privilege that they once felt. And we got to always keep that in mind. You know, my grandmother lived through the Depression, raising my father, my uncle, and my aunt. How did they get through the Depression? Because they already was living in a fucking depression. They weren't the ones jumping off the buildings, you know? And so that was where I was going to go. That was where I was going to go earlier. Because now we're to this point, coming back to C. Truth's thing, his point about the freedom and Flex about the fear is the number one tool. This is what is going to be coming in 2022. Cults. 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 Because the concept of the tribe is paramount. And there's going to be a push with cults because people's security has been shaken. And there's going to be a desire to find something that I can hold on to. Now, pretty much the Abrahamic religions are just about done for as far as their prominence. You know, And when I'm doing readings for these millennials, these people who are in their 20s, early 20s, late 20s, they have Pluto and Sagittarius. And they have Pluto in Pluto and Sagittarius, or Pluto in I'm getting a little bit of Pluto and Scorpio, but most of them got Pluto and Sagittarius. So what does that mean? Sagittarius rules the ninth house. The ninth house is the house of philosophy, religion, long distance travel, the greater vision. Pluto is the planet that tears down things so they can be rebuilt. So this generation naturally ain't buying into the bullshit, okay? Which is good on one hand. But on the other hand, I'm encountering young people who are in a rush to have this spiritual mastery. I'm like, hold on. You 21 years old. What the fuck are you having anxiety about? Because you're not as high up on your spiritual journey. It's like, what the fuck? That's what I want to say, but I got to be patient and be like, I'm trying to explain. There once was a time where you entered a temple to be initiated, and you did none of the shit that you thought you was there to do for years.
Right.
You had to do grunt work, sweep up shit, clean up shit, men stuff, all the shit you thought that you would have never came if you thought that was what you was going to do. But you had to earn the right to receive the rights. And they was dealing with the sixth house. You had to learn how to be of service. You see what I'm saying? And so, what has happened, this is what had happened. Religion has done such a fuckery that they have created such a gulf where now people want to throw the baby away with the bathwater. And they want to divorce the whole idea of going through initiation. The initiation of life. Life is initiation in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And because our generation didn't have an internet, you know what I'm saying, until later on in our adulthood. So if you grow up with the internet, then you already know about spirit guides and my higher self and, my divine feminine, my subconscious. You can know all this shit by 13.
Right.
But some of this shit you ain't ready to know at fucking 13. You ain't lived long enough to let shit simmer. You ain't done with the milk yet. You trying to eat steak. So this is the flip side. And I feel like this is where our generation comes in. We have the task of going back to, I think C Truth might have mentioned, the middle pillar of trying to hold balance and pass the baton, because they got the natural fire they want to know. And they are here for a reason to do work, but it needs to be tempered, because we know how this algorithm and this AI work and all this shit, and it'll feed you all the shit your ego wants.
Yes.
Oh, you looking up some videos on spirit guides? Oh, here is beloved Sandstorm, and she's ready to be your guide and show you how to, become attuned with your higher self. She just needs you to cut your ankle 7 times a day and send her a milliliter of blood. You know, some crazy shit. Next thing you know, you got yourself jammed up. You know. But
yeah, the algorithm is on. The algorithm is as we were saying the other day. You know, that thing is programmed. You know, they try to make it look like, oh, you know, they make it look like the algorithm is just a computer doing some type of AI doing. But it's still man behind that thing. And they watching us and they peeping us. And they could be possibly sending you BS. You know what I mean? Through what you're watching. And, you know, me and my barber was talking today. And he was talking about this YouTube channel. I thought I turned him on to this channel called Unplug 'Em. The guy on the channel name is Theo. And I guess something came in his recommendeds or whatever. He watched the video. He was asking me about it. And I said, I think I sent you a video from him. And anyway, he wanted to send me something from the dude's channel. But we was talking about how we got in consciousness. And, you know, my parents wasn't telling me. I knew about the mainstream conscious cats, the triune, Martin, Malcolm, Malcolm, and Marcus. You know, but I didn't know about Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark and Leonard Jeffries and Phil in the 90s, and you know what I'm saying? And like my parents wasn't on that time. So I learned consciousness from hip hop. You know, listening to Chuck D, listening to KRS, Brand Nubian, and you know, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, King's Son, Poor Righteous Teachers. Like, you know, you listening to even A Tribe Called Quest. Like, you listening to all these people, and that's where I got my. And then once you get you got a tidbit from them, then you was able to maybe go look for a book or go into the bookstore and say, you know, where are occult books at, or numerology books and things like that. It started like that's how it worked for me. And the kids now, like you said, you know, I didn't really get into the conscious stuff till like, you know, outside of the mainstream was probably like 07, 8-ish. And like you said, now the kids got the internet and they're jumping fences. You know, they getting, you know, they want to get to the stop early, and it's like, you know, like you said, they haven't did any work and they haven't experienced enough life to warrant what they're looking for. They're trying to just skip the whole live life and get to the illuminated point.
Right.
And you're going to be hard pressed. You got to go out. You know, the funny thing about them, they work is going to be, see, the work for us, we got 40 plus years left for us that's in our 40s. You know, the real spill is going to be my 8-year-old son.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? My 19-year-old son. You know, my 21-year-old son. That's going to be when the real, what, you know, the next phase of what we're seeing, the remnants of now, the beginning of now, what have you. If this is the play, it's going to be in full tilt. So, you know, the whole thing is this. You got to get that understanding, start paying attention to what you see outside, and then start tapping in to get your spirit guide and all of that. Because your spirit guide is going to be like, bro, I have nothing to give you. You've done no work, young soldier. And you like, but I'm here. I meditated for 1,000 hours, and I'm in front of you, but you have nothing to offer me. Where is your, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's your wounds at? Where's your war wound at? You come in here pristine. You have no sweat on your brow. You know what I mean? Like, we had to, like, listen, we got chased by cops. We hustled. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
We made funny moves. We barely made it out of situations. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We didn't flee, you know, we didn't got on our scammer shit a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, let's just keep it a stack. Let's just keep it a stack. You know what I mean? And now in our 40s, we on straight reminisce. Glad we made it through. I had a praying grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're tapping into all of that we made it through. These kids, they have something they have to go through. And it's going to be different than what we went through. But we have the wherewithal to see what they may possibly go through, though. Because they weren't around in the 80s and the 90s to see the predictive programming in the movies like we were. If you were paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Because now all that stuff is coming, all that stuff is here now. All that stuff from the 80s. You know, I was telling my wife, she was telling me, she was like, yeah, my grandparents used to like watching Chuck Norris, The Walker Show. You know, Walker, Texas Ranger, right?
Slow ass kung fu.
All that, you know, all feet.
Chuck Norris.
Yeah. All, you know, my dad in them back in the day, she said, all he do is kick. He don't do no hand-to-hand combat. He all legs. But what I told my wife is, I said, a lot of people don't know he was doing all those Delta Force movies in the 80s. Remember that? Remember the Delta Force joints. And what was Delta Force? They was that highly elite army like Delta what? Delta 6 that got who out of here? Osama. You know what I'm saying? So they was giving us they was running it in the 80s, bro. The 80s and the early 90s. Go back and watch Sniper with Billy Zane. Go back and watch Sniper. And they took out and Billy Zane and what's my man name? He was in Platoon. I can see his face, but I can't think of his name, bro. But they were watch the movie Jackal. Because in Jackal, if you watch Zeitgeist, I forget which one, I think it was the second one, where they had the dude that was an economic hitman. And he was like, well, the first thing they do, they send me in there. I'm the economic hitman. He's like, yo, we're going to go in there and we're going to tell them that we're going to put these tariffs on them and all of this. Then he like, if that don't work, they try to send in a coup. You know, they bring in somebody to ruffle feathers and to try to, you know, get somebody in that country to topple their government. He say, when that don't work, we send in the Jackal. And the Jackal go pop somebody's top. You know what I'm saying? So they was giving us all these movies and showing us, America was giving us their plays in the 80s. We just thought it was entertainment. So if you watch Delta Force, if you watch like I said, the joint with Billy Zane, Sniper, and all of these movies, it's the play. So we seen all of that. And now it's in the play and it's been shown. So these are the Jews we got to give our kids. So when we move on, they have the wherewithal to see, you know, what we see and more. I'm gonna go on mute because I gotta bring all my stuff into my building.
Okay, bet. Yeah, that's on point. You know, we've been conditioned so much to where, and this is nothing that y'all don't know. What's up, Brother Williams? That we're conditioned to see the movies as entertainment. And the news is like reality. When, oh, excuse me, when they are the opposite, you know, the roles are reversed. You think about how our parents, when worked, boy said looking for Candyman. Oh yeah, I heard about that coming out. How parents work, you know, you come home and you know you might watch the news, then they got their particular shows they want to watch, you know, at night. And it's like everything is set up to keep us locked in into that paradigm, but like it's doubled down even more. And you go on your job now and they talking to some shit about work-life balance. Work-life balance. And it's the biggest joke because nobody gives a damn about no type of balance. And the idea is to extract as much energy out of the people as they can, so that by the time you get done with your shift and get home, you so beat down that you just want something mindless to participate in, just to unwind and just decompress. And now, instead of the Cosby Show, we got Netflix, Hulu, Roku, Fire Stick, you know, just endless entertainment. Hell, we got YouTube, you know. And so it's a lot harder to break away and just process shit without some constant stimulation. And once again, it all ties in to where we are now. I don't know where I was going. I started with that, but because Dapper said something about my mind is going everywhere tonight. But either way, what I'm wondering is if what happens when people just decide I'm not going to participate? What happens when people just say I'm just not going to participate? You know, instead of going and using energy to go, Dap mentioned something earlier about people going to go in front of the governors, whatever, in North Carolina and protest and picket. Like, how much energy is that wasting?
Oh yeah. They was in front of the governor's mansion.
Okay, the governor's mansion.
Yeah.
What, like, you know, here's the thing. A lot of what we do now is so expressive. I got to express my distaste or my discontent or whatever. Peace, Brianna. But I think we at a time now, like tying it back to our title about vibe with your tribe. I think you got to get people's phone numbers. I think you gotta get people's email addresses. You know, you got to get a picture of people. Like I want to see what you look like. I don't want to keep talking to, like, if we're going to have a conversation, I don't want to always talk to your avatar. I got to see you and look at you and look in your eyes. I need to see who is the actual person. Like the basics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even if we're doing it over the internet, we need to have that human interaction. And I think this is where it starts. Like, you know how you've been saying, like, we got to go back to analog.
Right.
I was telling my wife about that, and I was like, you know, in many ways, that shit resonates on a lot of levels. You know, we got to go back to analog. Like, some stuff we just can't even talk about it here. Just, you know, all the different, like, let your imagination and your creative juices flow. If there ever was a time for it, it's now.
You know what? Oh, my bad.
Go ahead. You got it.
You said something the other day that was, I thought, pretty good too. There's times in our lives where we got, and we feel like this is one of those times that, okay, I'll just use me as an example. I want to lose my gut. So I'm doing things to, you know, to remedy that, working out, keto, trying to stay on track, this and that. And Jamal was like, yo, that's what we have to do today. Like, but he was saying about working out is something like, we got to be healthy. We have to stay healthy now. Like, it can't be, you know how it's like, oh, I want to get my beach body ready, or I'm in my girlfriend's wedding, so I'm trying to lose weight to fit in the dress. And then you go hard and you reach that goal, and then after you reach that goal, you let go and you go back to where you was before the wedding. But Jamal was positing that at this moment with what's going on, we have to lock in and stay steadfast into being on our straight and narrow path. So with me working out, my end goal would have been getting my gut down and being in better shape. But the goal is to just keep to implement that in my life, where that's just like drinking water. because with what's going on in our society at the time, we have to be as healthy as possible now. You know what I mean? It's not a thing where it's just like, you know, do it for this season, and then, oh, I made it. Like, no, that whatever that is that not forced us, but drove us to get to a point. That's how we got to look at what's going on in our society now, and then stay on and stay on it. I'll say for the foreseeable future.
Yo, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. That's something else I wanted to, expound on that. Like, all right, like that was saying, health and fitness for me, when I was younger, like when I first moved to Texas 19 years ago, my first thought about getting in shape was for women. You know, I was 25. I get 25 when I moved here. So by that October of 2002, you know, I was war ready. I was ready to go, you know. Then, but at this point in my 40s, like, and back when I was in my late 20s and 30s, I would go and do a bodybuild. If I was starting to get out of shape a little bit, I would find me a show to get into, a bodybuilding show, and I would use that as my drive to get myself back in shape. And to a degree, it's kind of a yo-yo thing, right?
Yes.
Well, at this point in life, in my 40s,
can't yo-yo no more.
And it's not even about the superficial, like, and it don't mind you, I still want to look decent, you know, look good. But what we're seeing now is it's a form of protection.
Yes. Because things are coming online through the pharmaceuticals. So we gotta be ready physically now.
And the other thing is, we don't know what all our bodies are having to fight off that we ain't even aware of.
Right.
So
and they've been giving us predictive programming with that, because they've been telling us for 20 years that America's the most out of shape country, and the obesity rate. So they've been feeding that. They've been feeding that into the society, and then they're gonna turn around and use it to your detriment.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so now you're not now to get in shape now is a livelihood.
That's right.
You know, you got to turn into a gym rat. Like I was telling Jamal today, even when you don't want to go to the gym, just go in the gym. If you just go walk on the trail for 30 minutes, you know, and maybe just, I told him, like today, it wasn't a thing where I didn't want to go to the gym. I just went closer to, I went knowing I had to, you know, I went at a time where I was going to have to leave and get to my barbershop appointment. But I was able to get an hour in, you know, and I wind up being a little late because, you know, driving also. And excuse the noise, I'm you know, doing these trash bags. But when I got in there, I did 30 minutes on the tread. I did some ab work. I did some leg press. I did some chest presses. And some leg presses, and by the time I did all of that, it was time for me to leave. But it felt good. I went in there, I got something done, and it was good for my mental. Because I didn't, you know, because I could have been like, oh, you know, I'll just go Monday when I come back from out of town or whatever. And it's like, no, I went in there, and you know, when you go in and just do something, it still gives you that accomplishment feeling. You know, like, you know, I went in there and knocked it out. So even if you don't want to go, just still go. And if you just walk on the tread for a minute or whatever, like at least you went in there, at least you got something in. And, you know, then there's going to be days you can't wait to get to the gym. But just on those days where it's tough, still go. You know, you might not go as hard as you would on the day you know you're excited about or what have you. But just still go, because working out is a livelihood now. Like, we got to add that in. You know what I'm saying? Right. Me and my wife, we was looking at stuff that we, you know,
that we're gonna start removing. Because she's doing keto with me, and it's like doing that, working out, watching what you eat. I've never watched what I eat. I was straight Jethro bowl, put everything in. You know what I'm saying? I had an insatiable appetite. Just eat, 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 eat. I was on my Mike Tyson. And we keep eating. You know what I mean? They eat you. And, so now, looking at it like it's a livelihood, it's for the better.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's so much information out here to learn, and you can educate yourself on how to eat, supplementation, things you can make at home. But here the kicker is this. Me personally, I discovered a long time ago that when I am locked in
Oh, wow.
on physical fitness, it propels all the other aspects of my life. Mental health, spiritual health, financial wellness, all of them really tie in to when I'm taking care of my vessel. And once again, we're saying these are all forms of consciousness. It is of the utmost importance to, like Sirius said, lock in and tap in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the kicker is this: consistency.
Yes.
And
that's my struggle.
I want everybody, this is something I want to drop on everybody. Just wherever you at, it might apply, it might not. If you're struggling with consistency, everybody has something that they can look back on and see where they had to endure and overcome.
Right.
And you got to always reflect back on whatever you have overcome. And wherever that area is where you are struggling with confidence, with consistency, it is many times coming from a confidence issue. And your confidence can be strengthened by reflecting on something you have overcome. And if you think hard enough, don't try to judge it, like, that wasn't nothing, whatever it is, all it takes is a seed. And you take that feeling of how you endured this period, you kept your nose to the grindstone, you stuck with it, and you got some measure of results. That's what you reflect on. And that's what your confidence is. You bank on that, and it helps to propel us in other areas. What I'm getting at is everything is everything. I want to read something. Shout out to Young E. Young E is in the chat. So when we talk about vibing with your tribe, this is what it means. So I have like Brother Williams. You see Brother Williams be chiming in from time to time. Okay, before I go, Flex said not seeing the results I think could make me lose being consistent. Okay, I think he's saying if he's not seeing results. Just think about that metaphysically, though, Flex. Think about the metaphysics of that. Everything in the known world starts in the unknown, right? So the results are the results start in your blood, which you can't see. And the physical results are, expressed in, the objective world where you can see, but the work starts in your blood, which ties into what I was going to get into. So the tribe, Young E, turned me on to this book right here, Astrology and the Rising of Kundalini. Okay, I just want to read something in here, and it's going to talk about the chakras, but it shows how all of this ties in with our bodies. Bear with my voice starting to crack a little bit, my bad. Okay.
I think you need some of that alkaline water.
Yeah, something that alkaline. The chakras are specialized subtle energy transducers. They transduce or step down subtle energy signals into chemical and hormonal bioinformational signals. Okay. Once it starts saying chemical and hormonal, we are now down into the physical body now. So basically, there's a bridge. The chakras provide the bridge to the higher realms, connecting them with the actual physical vessel. Okay. It says signals into chemical and hormonal bioinformational signals that instruct and direct various physiological processes in the body. In addition, the chakras are also emotional and spiritual energy processors. The chakras are not actually part of the physical body, but are vortexual energy centers that exist in the higher subtle bodies known as the etheric, astral, and mental bodies. I'm sure all of y'all already know about all this, but let's just keep each of these higher bodies that has its own specialized functions is formed from etheric, astral, or mental matter, or a variety of subtle matter that vibrates at speeds beyond that of physical matter, allowing the subtle bodies to interpenetrate the physical body. These subtle bodies and their associated chakras actually exist at higher dimensional levels. Thus, the term multidimensional reality implies interactions not only in the physical body, but also in the higher dimensional bodies, such as the etheric and astral as well. Each of the chakra centers corresponds to and feeds subtle magnetic energy to the major nerve and glandular centers of the body. In addition to providing a nutritive function, each chakra is related to a different emotional or spiritual issue of personal spiritual evolution. An understanding of the chakras and human multidimensional anatomy is critical to making sense of how humanity's relationship to planetary positions at birth can influence physiological, behavioral, and spiritual patterns throughout an individual's life. So just something as simple as going to work out, you are actually moving cosmic energy. Therefore, nothing is really ever just mundane. Everything we do is always cosmic, especially when we're functioning at a higher consciousness. So just a little something to add in there.
Yeah, because at the same time, and we said this before, you can't sleep all day, you can't sit all day, you can't stand all day. So, like, we're meant to move. We know stagnant water becomes stale in a sense. So, that's the same thing I noticed with the body years ago. I'm like, yo, we always got to be doing something. Like, you like, oh, I just love being in this position. I could be here forever. Then your body start aching. You got to get up and go walk somewhere, get your blood flowing. So we're meant to be doing something. You know what I mean? And in a sense, constantly to keep your universe moving.
That's right.
If you look at our body, if you look at it in the metaphysical sense, if your body is a universe, like, you have to keep your body moving around, and working out is one way to do it. Outside of just, walking at work and, sitting at lunch and then standing doing your job, working out gives you all of that in a bunch. You're walking, you're lifting weights, you're on the treadmill, you're moving your arms back and forth, your legs back and forth. So we're meant to be doing that. You know what I'm saying? We're not like what's those things at the zoo that sit up in the tree and just lay down all day? The hairy joints. I forget what they call it. I seen it. A sloth. Like, that's not us. And then we see what happened. Now we know it's part food, right? We know that, but we see what happens when we become stagnant. We get overweight. If you look in the animal kingdom, no animal is overweight unless they've been domesticated. So in the animal kingdom, you never see a fat lion. You never see a fat, tiger. Like, they eat what they need to eat. They move around. They get their exercise. And they look like what they look like. They all look alike. But with us, we get a little stagnant. And then next thing you know, we done put 40 pounds on. And then we know the older we get, our metabolism slows. And then it's hard for us to work the weight off.
Yeah.
And then we get into the mindset, because we have this feeling of, we have this free will thing. So now, well, if I want to die eating burgers, then I'll die eating burgers. It's my life.
Oh man.
So, I like a burger, so I'm not going to stop eating burgers just to get in shape. I was in shape in my 20s. I had my in shape fun. Now I'm going to, I thought you wanted more water. Now I'm going to overindulge in my later years. And then you start crying when you're taking high blood pressure medicine, diabetes, and listen, my mom called me the other day. Me and my son, we at Sam's Club grabbing a couple items. My mom calls me. She's next door at home. She comes over, meet me and Niaz. I stop and get Niaz like a little I think they're called churros or something. Oh yeah, he got a cinnamon pretzel. And but there was this lady right in front of us. She was in a wheelchair. Older woman, little overweight, and not judging this lady, not being judgmental of no one or anything like that, but just tapping into this health piece. I'm like, this lady I think she ordered a slice of pizza or two. At Sam's Club, they only got one size soda, and it's the gigantor size. So it's like, yeah, it's a straight big gulp joint. And it's like, lady, you in the wheelchair, you probably taking all this medication. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing for sure, but it looked like it. And then you about to eat this pizza and drink this big thing of soda.
But your remedy is you take heart medication to regulate you, so you okay. You know, it's like my dad told my mom one day. I wish, you know, he wanted a pill for an ailment, and I'm like, yo, Dad, like you got to work on that. You know what I'm saying? You got to do the work to maybe, you know, change that course, because a pill ain't gonna do it. A pill is just a short-term remedy.
Mm-hmm. And
You
a
know what I'm
long-term
saying?
problem.
Right. You know, because then the byproduct of taking all that medicine is it messes with your liver. So, you know, but that's where society's at, it seems, at sometimes, like, yo, you know, I'll go to my doctor and they'll give me this, and then I could still eat my burger. You know, so I'm looking at this lady like, lady, you probably shouldn't be in line getting 2 slices of super cheesy pizza in the tall Pepsi to go.
Yeah. It ain't funny. It's just I think about it. It's funny. Yesterday I'm in Sam's. I was telling my wife how angry I got. You know, Sam's got them long flatbeds. And I went in there to get some water, you know, some cases of those gallon Ozarkas. And we got those, down here we got the Ozarka gallons and the Ozarka liters. I go on.
Now, is that the water that go into them like they have in doctors' offices? You talking about the big joints like that?
Nah, gallons.
Oh, like a milk gallon?
Yeah.
Oh, but you got a case. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, they sell them like 6 to a case down here.
Yeah, that's where I go get my Deer Park water from.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then we get the 1 liter Ozarkas. We take those to the gym.
Okay.
And so my shit is heavy. I'm pushing, you know. So I'm already got my strategy together. I pay for my stuff, and I'm like, you know, I scan the aisles. I see I got to get my cart out here quick before all these people, you know, pay and get in my way, because I'm trying to get out of there.
Right.
I'm going. I got me a good speed going. And I'd be damned if the same thing didn't happen. This big fella.
You was about to call him something else. I'm glad you caught yourself. Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. This big fella.
Respectfully.
He pulls out from over there at the little deli. And look, he was going fast and slow at the same time.
He could taste that sausage.
Oh man, he was on the little wheel, the little motorized wheelchair.
Yep.
And that motherfucker's back.
Yeah.
The width of his back, respectfully, is unbelievable. He had a red and white shirt on, you know, had some red and white Nikes.
Oh, he was dressed, huh?
Oh yeah, he was dressed up like he fresh from the big and tall store, you know. And I guess I don't know if it was his mama or what. She's love seat, like, you know, she's pushing. Whole family stops right in the middle of the aisle and impedes my forward movement. Man, I wanted to flip his chair over. So I got to whip around them. And this ain't going nowhere. It's just cause you mentioned Sam's and just the sightings and Sam's. And I know I'm making fun. It was just funny though how it happened, but it really ain't funny. It's sad. But the point is, man, these be the same people who have like 4-5 masks on their face. You worried about this thing over here, but you got your buggy full of all this colorful cereals and juices and snack packs, and it just be piled up with shit.
Don't got all that red number 9 in your cart.
Come on,
blue number 7.
Oh man. And what I'm seeing, cause I normally don't go in the store. I sit in the truck and I take my book bag and that be my time. I might read. But since I was getting all this heavy ass water, I told my wife, okay, I'll go in and I get this water. So every time I go in the store, it's like a shock for me. Aside from the people, like just the obesity is just unbelievable. The other thing is that in the chat, Dap, you, whoever, are you noticing that people are seeming extra zombie-like? You gotta, I'm telling you, pay attention. There was this one dude, I'm in the aisle. I keep looking back to see, does he need to get by me? Because I got this big long ass flatbed. I keep looking back. He act like he gonna turn down the aisle. So I keep walking. I stop for a second. I'm looking for some gum. I'm gonna buy some gum. He don't say excuse me. He's right by, sliding up beside me, just and the way I'm telling you, man, the way the people looking is like these motherfuckers don't have no brain. Y'all got to look at the people, look at their eyes.
Yeah, it's like it remind me like back in the 80s, my uncle, when the crack epidemic was jumping, you see somebody just in a zone walking somewhere. My uncle used to be like, yo, he on a mission. And that's what it looked like. I see what you're saying. People on missions, and they ain't even on the mission going nowhere. They on the mission of just being stuck in this reality, moving nowhere, zoned out in the store, not having no consciousness on what am I doing? I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like you're just moving around.
Yeah, man. And people driving.
Now the driving part, yes. Definitely see some noodles driving.
Yeah, man. It's picking up. And people like being in the middle of the highway and just slow down because they don't know which way to go. And instead of just take an exit, park. If you don't know where you're going, just get off and park and get your bearings. They'll stop and come to a crawl in the middle of the highway.
Yeah, it's like those people that drive and knowing they exit coming up, and you in the third lane, and you try to get as close to the exit as possible, then start cutting over.
Yes.
It's like, yo, you just gonna have to ride that lane, fam. Like, Everybody hates traffic, but you know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Because I learned in my city, like I know when traffic's popping.
Right.
I'm not doing anything unless I have to be out.
Right.
And when I have to be out, I might know a route or two to, that's why it's kind of good to know your neighborhood or different little roads in your neighborhood, because you could skip through some traffic. You could beat a jam, cutting through a couple streets or whatever, because everybody's not doing it. So you'll be able to cut through and get to where you're getting. But yeah, people are impatient and don't want to just stay the course.
Right.
And then by not staying the course, you can cause an accident. You could cause some trauma because you want to not be patient and just, skip past or what have you. I see it all the time here. You know what I'm saying? Because we got, we don't got our traffic's not as bad as your area, but we got some bad traffic, and it's like, I just know, like, there's a lot of accidents.
Yeah.
Because I see it on the news, when they do the traffic, watch 540 eastbound. There's been an accident. And it's like, almost one every day. You know what I'm saying? Almost an accident every day. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's something else, man. It's troubling. It's troubling. And what I have to work on is not getting irritated. Because it all circles back to this. If the awakened are the parents, and we're living in a world with we're living in a daycare right now. We're living in an open daycare. That's what we in. And so it's like you were saying, you got to be on every time you walk out the door.
Oh yeah. You gotta have your highlights on. You gotta have your high beams on. And I ain't talking about your car. I'm talking about your mind. You got to be paying attention what's going on around you. Once our situation that our society is in kicked in, I started doing that last year. I said, okay, when I go, because it's like we say, we don't know who's who when you out and about. We don't know who's a part of what, who has, what someone ideals are. We don't know any of that stuff. So when you go outside, you gotta pay attention to what's going on around you, especially when you in places where there's other people from society. When you in grocery stores, if you at the mall, anywhere where there's a collection of society, you gotta pay attention to them. You know what I mean? And just stay, and stay on the ready, because you don't know what can transpire. You know what I mean? So I've been doing that since last year. It's just been heightened.
Yeah.
It's just been heightened because you watch the news, and we was talking about this a couple weeks ago. Like, is this stuff real or fake? Like, they're sending, like I told you last week, they said, they was like, it's been an uptick of people stealing from in California, stealing because if you steal something less than $900 is not a felony or something like that. And then they all of a sudden, it's like they show these people like taking all armfuls of clothes out of TJ Maxx or what have you. So it's like, and then with the people snapping with not wanting to wear the face covering and all of that. It's like, so when you win somewhere, you don't know what's going to happen. And then even if it's a false flag, all our grocery stores, like our Harris Teeter used to be 24 hours. Our Walmart used to be 24 hours. Certain Targets was 24 hours. And when I was, and I used to like grocery shopping at night because nobody was in the store. You could get to everything you want to get to. You know what I'm saying? I was good for grocery, especially like before I got married. I would go do my grocery shopping at night. And so one night I went somewhere. I had to get something before I came in. And I went to a Walmart, and the lady was like, yeah, we're going to be closing. We're going to start closing at 11.
No, I was at a Harris Teeter one time and I seen it on the door. And I was talking to, an employee, and they were like, we're gonna be closing at 11. And I was like, why? And she said, because all of the mass shootings going on, they want to protect their staff and customers. So even if something's a false flag, like even if people say, they just doing that to try to get the guns out of people's hands, it still has a real time effect. And I know, man, you talk about that a lot. So it's like, even with, so with that, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't know what's going on when you walk in a grocery store. So I just be having my head on the swivel, constantly looking around. It's just like driving. My uncle told me back before I was driving regularly, he's like, always look in your mirrors every 20 seconds. Looking your side view, looking your rear view, then look on your right side. Because it's not about what's in front of you, it's about what's coming up. Some of the time, you got this crazy driver coming up behind you, and you just doing the speed limit cruising, and then you got this noodle coming up behind you. You know what I mean? And so and I've been doing that since he told me that. But then it's like in society, you got to do the same thing. You got to just peep who's around you, what's going on. Why this guy, like, why you up on me, and whatever, like. It's gotta have your high beams on.
Right. And yes, supplies are limited, Nia. They are.
Yeah, and right now, my cousin, I went to see my cousin in Charlotte some years ago. And we was at her house for something. And she was like, come here, cuz. And I'm like, all right. And she showed me her closet. And she has now I think she was getting like doing stuff off coupons. And but she had goo gobs and stuff, bro. I'm talking about all type of disinfectant wipes, Lysol, Clorox, washing powder, dish liquid. I mean, she had everything, bro. And this was years ago. This is before what we going through in our society. But yeah, it's like now while things are starting to, be replenished a little bit, it might be time to gather some things while you can.
Right. Well, I'm about to hit that What Your Pops.
It's pumpkin time.
Pumpkin time.
It's pumpkin time.
It's pumpkin time. My shit over here cracking and shit.
Well, before we head out, I'll just say check out the new singles, El Flamingo. Figure this. They're on the Bandcamp. Oh, I got to do my due diligence and get them on the streaming services. But they're on the Bandcamp. And I think our next project is going to be the EP Monaco Visions. So, we about to add that cost up, see what that's going to cost, and get those monies together to put out this new EP. I think y'all really gonna like this new one. We played some of the beats before in the past podcast. But Jamal has everything written, and so that's ready to be dropped. If you want to support us or be a part of what we're doing with Think Music, you can hit us on the Cash App or PayPal. Whoever supports, you will be in the credits of the project that you support. So your name will be on there. MJ has supported, and her name is on the singles that we just dropped. Young E.
Jason.
And it was, I think, one more person. I can't remember offhand, but their names are in the credits of those singles that we dropped. So that's the benefit of helping to get Think Music out there to help us push it out. And so we gladly we're very appreciative of that. And yeah, man, that's all I got. I'm excited for this next EP. Me and Jamal both think it's going to be a one of the best concepts we put out up to this point. So yeah, we're excited to get that out. And I think that's it for me, man.
Yeah, it's an extension of, as we say, vibe with your tribe,
Right.
So, that's
Yep.
what we really, what it's about. Let's see here. They said about the band camp. There you go. Appreciate y'all support.
And there's a lot more music on there also. So everything we've dropped is on the Bandcamp also. So, when you're tired of listening to whatever and you want to hear some conscious music, you're doing some work, you're cleaning the house, go to the Bandcamp and just let the tracks run, and and enjoy that.
No doubt. Real quick before we go, just one more thing. Something I've been thinking about doing is I'm going to be offering some readings for like children. Like if you want to get a reading for your youngins, I'm going to be doing it at a discounted rate. But I'll circle back on that. But just something put under your hat if you want to see just how special and your little ones are, and as I would say, what are their superpowers? And that something's going to be coming up in the near future. Some discounted readings for children. But that's all I got, man. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Appreciate y'all's positive energy.
Yes, indeed.
And that's all I got, brother.
Yeah. Like I said, man, check us out on the Bandcamp. Eat new EP. It's done. We just gotta, find out what it's gonna cost and set up the studio time, and that'll be out. No date yet, but once we see how much it's gonna cost and what we need to put together, and and then once we do that, and then Jamal call them and see what's available. We'll let you guys know. We'll let you all know. And I think it's perfect summertime music. And once we drop it, I think we should do a podcast on it and like really break down what this project's about. Just real quick before we go, I believe in concept albums because I think it gives it more legs. And this is a concept album. So once we drop it, not to say we'll do a whole podcast on it, but a portion of the podcast will be on breaking down this project. And I think you guys will really like it, especially once you understand it. And then when you listen to it, you will be able to listen to it from a from a viewpoint of just listening to it to listen to it, and and get deeper into the material. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this to come out.
And I want to throw this out here, and I haven't even run this by depth. I want to throw this out here. Okay, I just mentioned about readings for children. How do y'all in the chat feel about if we did a show where if you come with your child's exact time of birth, date of birth, and place of birth, and we can answer some questions about their chart live. And what we would ask for is if you just hit us with a small, dare I say, love offering. Church say amen. So what y'all think about that? So we get on here, you come equipped. You have your child's time of birth, date of birth, place of birth. We'll pull the chart in real time, and it'll be an affordable way for you to get some insight. It'll help us, and we can help you. As my cousins say, even swap, no swindle.
Yeah, a direct benefit.
Direct benefit.
A direct benefit. And as we talked about many podcasts ago, getting this understanding on your child, you may see something now. If your child's having an issue or not, the reading is going to give you insight to your child that it may afford you a new way to handle, your son or daughter in any particular situation, because now you got the chart and you may see why they're doing certain things, and then you could find a remedy through the chart.
Exactly.
And then with the money piece, the love donation, like Jamal said, is even swap, no swindle, and you'll be getting some music,
mm-hmm.
You'll be getting some music. So, and your name will be on the credits of the music.
Right. So let's how you feel about doing that next week?
Yeah, I'm with it.
So look, we're gonna be on our YouTube, I think, media right now. We need y'all to tell a friend to tell a friend next week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Nia, hit go to the site, or you can just shoot me an email. We can chit chat. But yeah, tell your folk to come through. Your folk who got sense like you. And come through next week. And yeah, come with your have the birth time, the birth date, and the young, good looking, good brother. I appreciate you. Birth time, birth date, and the place of birth. And we just open it up. We're gonna open it up for for your children and y'all in the chat. We're just gonna open it up. So it's not gonna be a full reading. So we ain't gonna be on here. We ain't gonna be on here for 60 minutes on one person. But we'll make it something. We can answer a couple questions for you. And we'll keep it moving. That's part of the Aquarian way. Um, so look forward to that next week. That's what we're gonna do. We already got it lined up.
Yeah, and if you got a family member that's dealing with a child, you know, we don't need names and all of that. We don't even need to know what they going through per se. Um, or maybe just a tidbit, but not. You don't got to go in crazy. And then that way, when the chart is read, uh, we can see maybe why the young man or woman are going through whatever they're going through, and vice versa. You might have a Doogie Howser nephew or niece, and it might want to know, man, how they tapping into that? Like, why is his IQ 300? Just whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's another way. Just okay, this is what he has in his chart, and because I think, like I said, with that lady in that book, with that 72 to 84, and then there was a lot of talk about indigo kids years ago coming online. Who knows who child or daughter is what? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that'll be a good build next week.
Sir. Your wife said, "Was it going to be astrology anonymous?"
Yeah, we don't gotta put the kids' names out there, but I mean, like, if a kid's doing something, like I said, you don't gotta go into it deep, but just just a little something. That way we know what we're looking at, and take it from there. Might have a nephew that shot out. Like, man, what's wrong with this kid? And then his chart is all over the place. Like, oh, that's what's going on. But he needs to tap into this. And that's one thing about the chart. The chart to give you the polar opposite of what you need to tap into to remedy, what's going on majorly in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the beautiful thing. The chart has remedy.
Right. It's a roadmap. For sure.
Yep. It's a roadmap.
Well, good people. On that note, we're going to sign off.
Right as my phone is at 5%. Perfect timing.
Oh, man. Right on time.
Yep.
So y'all be easy. Y'all be well. And
it's pumpkin time.
it's pumpkin time.
Peace.
Peace.